Most people think building an n8n RAG agent means you need to be a developer or you need to understand the complex AI architecture. But that's not true. In this video, I'll show you how to build a production-ready n8n RAG agent using the new Gemini 3 Pro. The same way we build RAG agents for clients at Fiction AI and teach over 200 members inside the Builders Lab community. At the end, you have a working RAG agent that intelligently answers questions from your own documents, and it requires no coding experience. If this helps, hit a like and let's get into it. So first of all, why do you even need RAG in the first place? You need RAG if you want your AI to stop creating facts out of nowhere and intelligently answer questions based on your document. And that is when you need RAG. And what is the meaning of RAG in the first place? RAG simply means retrieval augmented generation. And the way it works is that first of all, you provide it with a question or a query. It goes through your documents and finds facts that can be used to answer or be used to answer that query. After that, it uses those facts to answer your question. It's just like a typical Google search before you answer a question. You first go to Google search up your query, and it gives you a number of facts you can use to answer a specific question. But this time, instead of searching on Google, what it does is that it searches your documents, not the internet. And in order for this whole video to make sense for you, you need to understand these principles first. Obviously, for your AI to search up your documents, you don't just upload it and out of nowhere the magic happens. There are 3 steps which I will go through with you that turns your document into an AI ready format that the AI can search for and find facts to help answer your query or your question. So here's the first one: chunking. Chunking is basically the process of splitting your big PDF document into smaller pieces. And why do we need these smaller pieces? I'll explain a bit later. But in simple terms, it just makes it easier to search when it comes to retrieving the facts later. And then after chunking, we embed the smaller pieces, which is basically converting the text into numbers, because AI does not understand text. What it understands is numbers. And in simple terms, what these numbers are, it's that they store the meaning of these particular chunks. So for example, the word golf in the vector space could be in a similar position to where, let's say, you have a golf stick or golf ball. So you see the meaning are similar. And let's say you see football will be all the way here, but they would be in a similar vector space compared to, let's say, if you were to see a banana. A banana is not a spot, so it would be all the way on the other side. So that is basically how you can grasp how vectors work. They're just numbers that give meanings to words, basically, so that the AI can understand them, because AI does not understand words, it understands numbers, and it makes searching even more accurate. Final one is basically storing those numbers which are known as embeddings for search, which is basically taking these numbers and storing them into a vector database. And the difference between a vector database and a normal database that like a SQL or a NoSQL database is that a vector database stores numbers with meanings, and on the other side, a normal database just stores words, integers, and all that kind of stuff, and you relate to them using SQL basically. But this one, they get placed in a vector space, as I explained to you. So if it's going to be a golf ball or a golf stick, they're going to be similar. If it's going to be a ball, it's going to be in a similar vector space, but then to the other side, because they all relate to one thing, which is spots. But if you were to put banana into a vector database, it's all going to be in a similar vector database. It's going to be all the way, let's say, to the left, to the right, but it's going to be a bit far from the spots area. And the way that you search up a vector database is using something called semantic similarity, because the way the search works in a vector database compared to a simple database is that you provide it with a query, and that query is provided to the vector database, and it retrieves facts that are similar to that query. So it's not just like a SQL or a NoSQL database that you have to put in the exact word in order for you to get what you're looking for. What you just have to do is provide it, they put a sentence, and then it retrieves facts from the vector database that are similar to that sentence. So that is basically how you turn your document into an AI-ready document for retrieval augmented generation. That was easy. You now understand how a RAG pipeline works. The next thing is setting up a vector store, which is basically the vector database where you store the embeddings. And a software that makes all of this easy for us is a software called Superbase, because it makes it easy for us to add the embeddings and also integrate very well with n8n. And for context, Superbase is just hosted version of Postgres, which we all know as a database. But then they recently added a feature where you can add a vector store to your existing database. So it makes everything easy for us. So what you're going to do is just create an account, go over to your dashboard section, go into an existing organization that you have, and create a new project. So we're just going to name it RAG Pipeline. Put in a strong password. See, let's generate one, copy it in case, and select the region that is closest to you. But I believe it's just going to automatically choose one based on where you are located. Click on create new project. Once you've created one, you just have to go back to n8n and let's create a credential. Let's look for Superbase API. Click on continue. I'm gonna see that we need the host and the service role secret. So in order for us to do that, we'd first have to go here, scroll down on this page, copy your product URL, go back to n8n, paste it, and then for your service role secret, copy the API key, back, paste it here, click on save. So now we've created our Superbase vector store and successfully connected it with n8n. So let's just go back, create a new workflow. Create a new workflow. Then now we have to set up the vector store in our Superbase project. If you open n8n docs, we are gonna find this quick setup. And what you have to do is just copy this, go back to your project, and go to SQL editor. I'll paste this. You can easily find this, but let me just show you. Here's vector store. I'm just gonna add a random one. Just go to docs here. And once you're in docs, you're gonna find this quick setup for setting up your vector store. Once you're there, just come here and copy this. Once you've copied that, as I've said, go back to your project, SQL editor, and paste it here. Once you've done that, just click on run. And it's very typical to run into an error like this. And I have a solution for that. So just remove the second line and paste this, which says just create extension if not exist vector. So what we're doing here is just we're saying create the extension, which says here that the extensions .vector does not exist. So let's do that and run again. Let's run it again. Okay, so that seemed to work. So in order for you to fix it, if you tried the first command, which you got from here, and it didn't work, and you replaced it with this create extension if not exist vector, and it didn't work too as well, just go to database, go to extensions, and just search for PG vector and just make sure it's enabled. So now that our vector database has been set up, you can see here has the ID, the content, the metadata, and the embedding. So for context, all the facts will be stored here, which are the textual information, the chunks. if you can remember, and this will just be the metadata and the embeddings, which are the meanings of these words here will be stored here. So this is what we'll be using for the semantic search later on. So now that we've set up our vector database, let's go back to n8n now and set up the RAG pipeline. Okay, but before we do any of that, we first have to add our documents into our vector database. So I'll show you that. Let's just use trigger, let's use chat trigger. Let's add a node. Let's add a Google Drive node first of all. That's it. Download file here. Keep it here. I'm also going to show you how to set up the Google Drive credentials too. So once we have that, let's search up Stream-based vector store. And let's see for add documents to vector store, which we can see here. We have to add embeddings model, which we can use the OpenAI embeddings model for. In order for you to create an OpenAI API account, all you have to do is just search for OpenAI Playground. This link here, settings. Once you're in settings, make sure your account is funded. Once it's funded, you can go back to API key here and just create a new secret key and call it n8n API. Select the project, which is our default project, and create a secret key. Copy that. Let's go back to n8n, create new credential, paste it here. Just click on save. Can you see that worked? And you have to make sure to keep note of this embedding model that you're using, which I would explain later on why it's important. So just keep notes which embeddings model you're using. We're just going to be using the text embedding 3 small. Then just gonna add the document loader. Add it here. Alright, that's it. So now we have to set up our Google credentials. So click on create credentials, go to cloud.google, sorry, console.cloud.google. Let's create a new project. Call it n8n Google Drive credentials. Just give it a few seconds for it to create. Select project. Then all you have to do is search for the Google Drive API here. Make sure it's enabled. Once we're here, what you want to do is first of all go to the OAuth consent screen. Click on get started. Just put our application name, user email, put your email here. We're going to choose external here because that's the only one available for our Google account. And for contact information, just use the same email as the app information. Here, continue, click on create. Okay, next up, let's go to branding. You have this, you can add your app logo. So then you find the authorized domains. Just click on add domain, go back to your n8n workflow and just copy the domain of your n8n application, whether it's self-hosted or it's hosted by n8n cloud themselves. If it's hosted by n8n cloud, I think it's just n8n.cloud. If it's self-hosted by yourself, just copy the last part before the slash, go back here, paste it, click on save. Let's go back to our audience. That test users, this part is important, so make sure to add the email that you will be signing in with the Google account for. So just put it here and go to clients and click on create. Click on web application here. You can leave the name anything, Then what you want to do here is just click on add URI, go back to your n8n, copy this one, go back, click on create. Then what you want to do, copy your client ID first of all, then copy your client secret and save. Sign in, so log in with the card. Okay, seems like, let's go back to audience. It's the test users here. That's what then make sure that it's added. Till update and add. Because in order for it to work, you have to make sure your email is added. That worked. Then let's go back, sign in with Google, click on your name, click on continue, click on select all. Right then. So now that we have our Google Drive connected on with n8n, what you want to do is select the file, and the file that we'll be using here, there's just a synthetic file that I created here. It's a knowledge base, or should I say a customer support knowledge base for a fintech software called n8n. So you can see here it has everything needed, and this will be used in order for us to build our customer support RAG agent. So let's go here, click on download as the operation. I'd select the file called n8n. Take care. Camel, the Superbase vector, if you can remember, we created a table and it's called documents. Let's go here, document. Think setup here. Let's click on this. And what this is going to do, I made a mistake. So what you want to do is just go to default data loader, click on binary, load all input data, or you can select load specific data if you want. And you can put the name here, which is data, same. And you can put how you want this to split up the characters. We're just going to keep it simple here. And let's run again. Yes, perfect. So now it's going to do the 3-step process, which is first going to break up this document into chunks. After that, it's going to use this embeddings model to turn those chunks into numbers, then vectorize those numbers and store it into a vector database. So if you go back here and we refresh, we would find it here. You can see the embeddings and we can see the content. Perfect. So now that we have our information stored, let's copy this and keep it here. Now what we want to do is add an AI agent node. We want to add a system prompt. So just click on system message here. Okay, and for the system message that we will be using, I've created a system message using our AI agent prompt framework that I explained in my previous video. You can see we have the role, the guidelines here, the task, the conditional instructions, and the example layer. So we have everything here. So just copy it, go back to our n8n and paste it. So in order for you to create one, just make sure to watch that video to get a better understanding of how the prompting works. So just a quick overview, the role is basically telling the AI agent what it does and who it is. After that, we have the guidelines. The guidelines are rules that the AI agent must follow. In order for you to come up with these guidelines, you have to run iterations of the AI agent and see where it's falling short of your expectations, and where it falls short, just add it into the guidelines so that the next time it runs, it would not fall under your expectations. Next thing is the task, which is what the AI agent will be doing. You can see here, the task is assist customers with inquiries about the n8n services by retrieving relevant content from the knowledge base using the Superbase vector store tool. I'll show you that in a moment. Then we have the conditional instructions, which just basically says, so if a user asks for a question, call the Superbase vector tool, then use the returned content to generate the answer. And you can see here, then we also have the example here. So I've said, if you want a better understanding, go watch that video and it will give you a bit more clarity on how this works. So I've said, copy that and paste it here. Let's add in a chat model. So we use the OpenAI chat model with the credentials that we've set up for the embeddings model. And let's see which is the new GPT 5.1. To add tools for the memory. This is extremely important. So add this. Let's make it 10. Equal the tone. This is where we're adding the vector store. And it's just going to be retrieve documents based on the user query. Retrieve document. Just add them this description here, and remember selecting the documents table from here. Then we want to retrieve, let's put 3 here. So we want to retrieve the top 3. As you can remember from the semantic search, it's going to pull up facts that are more similar to the query, and it can pull up multiple. But what we are restricting it to do is we're basically telling it to just pull up the 3 most similar facts from the vector database here, as you can see here, and keep it here. And we also have the embeddings. I told you, keep note of the embedding model that he used here, which we can see here is the embeddings 3. Then choose the same embeddings model you used when you embedded the chunks into vectorized form. Save it here. Okay, so once you save, just open the chat here and just ask it this question. So how can I do my KYC? Which, if we check the knowledge base, we can see there are answers to that. So let's go back to n8n workflow. I click on run. So now it's gonna save that message in the memory so that in the next messages it can reference and know what the previous queries were by the user. And then we are using the OpenAI chat model, which is basically the brains that orchestrates everything. And then this tool is basically what does the semantic search and gets a fact. So if we were to open here, we can see we got one item. So here we got the 3 top items. We got the 3 facts. We can see here you may be asked for, okay, so this is the first chunk, this is the second chunk, and this is the third chunk. So let's ask it about the supported payments. So let's go here, click on it here, and let's click on send. Now we can see how everything is done. So it first saves the question into the memory. Then we use the OpenAI chat model, which is the brain that orchestrates everything and determines what tools to call. Then we make a semantic search to the vector database and we retrieve the 3 facts. You can see here, it adds it to the memory. Then it uses the orchestrator to take those top 3 facts and put them into a message that the user can read, and it can also be helpful to the user. And it saves the response into the memory, and we can see the answer here. So Notify supports payment methods, bank-to-bank transfer, wire transfer, local banking rails, and wallet-to-wallet transfer coming soon. So you can see it works perfect. Let's ask it the next question. So how do I make a payment? You can see it's using the brains, done the vector search, and now it's formatting the message, which you should get in any moment, which you can see here. So go to the payment section, enter the recipient details, set the amount, review the fee, confirm, and submit, which is exactly what we have here. So go to the payment, enter the recipient, review, and submit. Wow. So let's ask it a question. So how long does a US, so how long does a US to Canada Zap shot. Take. So we can see here, perfect. So a US to Canada payment typically arrives in between 1 to 2 business days, which is exactly what we have here. But timing can vary based on processing times, banking holidays, additional compliance check. Wow. You can see that is basically how you can chat with your documents, and you can apply it to different use cases. You can create a customer support and hook it up with, let's say, an email trigger, which you can add here. Here, just hook it up with this AI agent, and it's send back an email. Or you can even save it as a draft so that your actual customer support humans can first verify the message and make sure it's right before sending it. So it just makes their job way more easier. But if you want to just send it directly, you can just click on send message here, and you can see here we have an email customer support RAG system. Or if you even want, you can use this as a knowledge base for your new hires in case they have questions regarding SOPs or anything like that. So you can see there's different use cases that you can apply this to. And that's it. You now have a working n8n RAG agent that intelligently answers questions from your own document using the same method we use to build 5-figure systems for our clients. If you want to go deeper, join the Builders Lab, which is the first link in the description below, where you get step-by-step tutorials, templates, and live support to build production-ready RAG systems. And if you need to build a full AI strategy and transformation for your company, check out Fiction AI, which is the second link in the description, and book a call with the team. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Ahmed, and I'll see you in the next one.